Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video. This is more a behind the scenes type project. So I've got a desktop computer in my television room, LCD monitor, PlayStation, Xbox and all of that. And the desktop PC is connected through HDMI. I use it for entertainment, Netflix, TV tuner, checking my videos before I upload them to YouTube. But it also acts as a file server. It's got a mirrored RAID array with two 4TB Seagate USB 3 hard drives, and I've got all my YouTube project files saved there, my drivers and so on. I also do a bit of retro gaming on it, and the plan today is to downsize to this Cenovo mini PC TV box. So I've used the entire setup for a week now, and basically in this video I'm going to talk about how I went, what worked well, did I have any issues and could I solve them, and finally, am I happy with this and can I recommend this mini PC to you guys. Now this video is feature packed. We're gonna have a look at the old desktop and what parts I'm using in this project. We'll have a look in the box, overview of the unit. I'll talk to you about Windows 10 and how to do a fresh installation and how to make sure it's activated. We'll go over the specifications of the box. There are a couple of versions of this mini PC, so we're gonna quickly go over that. There will be gaming benchmarks and also sprinkled throughout the video gameplay of 3 games. We've got Far Cry, Toka 3 and GTA 3 from Steam. We'll check out the performance of USB 3, the Ethernet and also the wireless. We'll check out video decoding performance, power draw, and finally, of course, can I recommend this TV box to you. Hopefully you find it interesting. The PC I've been using up to this point is a Sandy Bridge based Pentium, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 GB SSD and a Sound Blaster Raccoon 3D sound card. We've got 2 Seagate 4TB USB 3 hard drives, which run in a mirrored RAID array. There's a USB LeTech TV tuner. We've got a Logitech K400 wireless keyboard with a touchpad. Let's have a look at the parts used for this downsizing project. At the center is the Cenovo TV box or mini PC. Sells for $139 and was supplied to me by banggood.com. Blitzwolf came through and hooked me up with a USB 3.0 hub, sells for $16, and a 120GB SSD drive, which sells for $60. All the purchase links are down below in the description. I'm also using a Seagate USB 3.0 SATA adapter to test the USB 3 interface, and we've got a USB sound card for my surround system. In the box is the mini PC. There's a power supply with a regional adapter for your country. It also comes with a HDMI cable. There's a quick start guide and a warranty card. Let's have a closer look at the unit. At the back, we've got the power supply connector. There's a micro USB, HDMI, Ethernet, and a 3.5mm audio jack. On the left side, we've got a USB 2.0 interface, one USB 3.0 interface, and a micro SD card reader. And on the right side, we've got the power button and 2 USB 2 interfaces. Let's go over the specifications. We've got an Intel Atom Z8350 quad-core processor, 4 GB RAM, 64 GB of eMMC storage. There's a gigabit Ethernet connector. We've got wireless 802.11n. It's got Bluetooth and comes with a copy of Windows 10 Home 64-bit. There are a couple of versions of this box. There is a cheaper version with only 2 GB of memory and 32 GB of storage. However, I do feel that in this day and age, you should opt for the higher and more expensive model, which has double the RAM and double the storage. So the box comes pre-installed with Windows 10 Home 64-bit. This happens to be a Chinese version and the region was set to US, so the language in most areas was indeed English. It was set up with a generic admin account. However, there were some leftovers in the Chinese language. So the first thing I wanted to do was install a clean copy of Windows 10. I downloaded the latest ISO of the Windows 10 Creators version and did an in-place upgrade and chose not to keep anything, and that worked really well and Windows stayed activated. I took an image with Acronis before and I tried doing a clean install, booting off the Windows 10 media and deleting all the partitions. That worked, however Windows ended up not being activated and even plugging in the license key manually didn't work. So I do recommend if you upgrade this box to Windows 10, do an in-place upgrade. We've got some benchmarks in CPU set, 281 for single thread and 948 for multi-threaded performance. 3D Mark 2001 we're getting 6,228, 3D Mark 03 4,526, 3D Mark 05 2992, and 3D Mark 06 we're getting 684 for the SM2 and 828 for the SM3 results. I ran a Tto Disk Benchmark on the 64GB eMMC, and we're getting read performance up to 140 megabytes per second, and the write performance is up to 50 to 80 megabytes per second. So the performance is fast enough, but it's obviously not as fast as a proper solid state hard drive. So I connected the 120GB Blitzwolf SSD with a Seagate USB 3 SATA adapter to check out what the USB 3 interface can do, and we're getting a performance of up to 280 megabytes per second. I'm running a mirrored RAID array using Windows storage spaces. So this goes through the USB hub, and it works really easy. I plugged in those two hard drives, opened storage spaces, and the RAID array got detected straight away. I ran a benchmark and I'm getting read performance up to 180 megabytes per second and the writes up to 130 megabytes per second. And you can also see that the CPU usage is fairly low. I checked out the gigabit Ethernet connection and we're getting just over 100 megabytes per second, and that's basically what I expected. I have to point out that on the website, the specifications actually say it's got a fast Ethernet port, so I was pleasantly surprised that there's a gigabit Ethernet included in this unit. Testing the Wi-Fi, we're getting typical 802.11n performance with around 7 megabytes per second. Now the Intel Atom processor has a built-in GPU which can do a lot of video decoding. I don't have a 4K screen, so I couldn't check out the advertised 4K support. However, at 1080p it does everything. It runs local video files, it runs Netflix, it runs YouTube. I've got footage here of YouTube and local video files playing and the CPU utilization on the right side. I couldn't show you Netflix because my capture card threw a copyright protection error. Now, if you're watching YouTube a lot and you're using Google Chrome, I recommend an extension for you that makes sure that the H.264 codec is used, because otherwise it's going to use the VP9 codec, which runs in software, and that's a little bit too much for this CPU to handle. I ran into one little issue with my USB hard drives. They would go to sleep pretty much straight away. So in my RAID array, the hard drives would constantly start turning on and start shutting down again. Usually you've got power options for this in Windows, but they weren't present. So it turned out there's a registry key that I had to change, and sure enough, I could now change the hard drive spin down times, which were actually set to 1 minute. The video driver has all the image scaling options that retro gamers are looking for. However, this only works on the desktop. In games, a centered scaling menu option is applied. So I recommend you either play at the 1280 by 1024 resolution, which has minimal letterboxing, or you create a custom 4:3 resolution, for example, 1440 by 1080. Comparing the power draw of the previous desktop, we're getting 39 watts under idle and 45 watts playing Far Cry, and this mini PC reduces that to 5 watts idle on the desktop and 11 watts playing Far Cry. The box is silent, there are no fans, so it doesn't make any noise. However, it does get quite a bit warm, but I haven't encountered any issues while using this box. Quick mention on the USB 3 hub, it works well. It's got a fairly thick USB cable attached to it. I used it without any issues with the RAID array, so I can definitely recommend it. I had to use a USB sound card I got from eBay. This one supports 5.1 for my surround speakers. Very surprised that the signal output was a lot stronger, so I got a louder volume. It also has phantom speaker mode because I don't like using the center speaker. It's got options for dynamic range compression and speaker fill for upmixing stereo to 5.1. It doesn't sound as nice as the Sound Blaster I had before, but it's good enough and I'm fairly happy. I couldn't get the Litec USB TV tuner going because they pulled the drivers, so I will contact them. Hopefully they can help me out. So I've been using this box for a week now, so it's time to give you a summary and recommendation. I'm very happy with the final result. Most things worked out of the box. I did have some issues with the USB hard drives powering down, but that was a simple fix once you know what it is. The power efficiency is fantastic. I can run this overnight for downloading and it's not going to use a lot of power. It is definitely slower than the desktop I had before. However, it's good enough. I'm not using this for multitasking. I usually watch one video or do one task, and it's perfectly fine for that. It's very strong with the media, having the video acceleration built into the GPU, and the USB 3 and the gigabit Ethernet performance is also very good. You will likely have to use USB devices because you simply can't install a PCI Express card, so I do recommend you get a decent USB hub. To sum it up, this project worked really well, and I've got a free desktop which I can use for future retro gaming projects. And there you have it, guys, $139 US. Link is down below in the description if you're interested. Let me know down below what you think, and otherwise I will see you soon with another video.